My name is Chris Claremont. You're watching Omni X-Men.
Hell yeah, as Bobby would say. Yes, welcome back to Omni X-Men. We are flying our way through the New Mutants Volume 1 omnibus. This has been an incredibly roller coaster filled ride. We've passed through the Bill Sienkiewicz years as we are reading through this original run, Claremont's side story to the Uncanny X-Men. We are now 5 seasons deep on this show, really getting into the nitty gritty of those early years with Chris Claremont and what that meant for all of our favorite mutants. And when I keep saying we over and over and over again, I mean me and this guy, Justin. JP is now taking over.
You had to get a reliable co-host. Your last co-host would pretend to lose his voice, and he couldn't be on the show. I want to tell you, John, if I lose my voice, I will be here.
Bravo. I'm going to see myself out.
I had him backstage. He was the first one here. I called him a bit ago. I was like, hey, would you mind hanging out and just...
Oh, good thing I didn't talk all that trash I normally talk about.
That you were feeling better, Justin. I was happy to fill in last week, but I'm glad you were feeling better.
Dude, JP, you were a rock star, dude. You did a great job. I thought you'd extend the show a little bit. I know you said you tried. It's not easy being me.
I couldn't play that role.
It's not easy being me.
As well as you can. So I will bow out. You have a great guest this week, and I don't want to take any of her time. John was like, we got to get Justin now.
JP, you got to do it, man.
JP.
So,
thanks, buddy.
You guys enjoy. We'll see you.
That was great.
Hey, no, really, it's this guy. What's going on, Justin?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. You guys were awesome last week. So sorry I couldn't be there. Thank you. JP was awesome. You were awesome, John. Thanks for pulling double duty on the slides and everything. And Matt was awesome. I was so bummed to not be part of that either. As you guys can hear, my voice is still not quite 100%, but I give it like 90, still getting there. But the energy's back. Everything else feels great. So I'm excited to be back on and talking more mutants. So
something is screwy when a huge movie drops in the theater and I go see it with my wife, and this guy, he don't go.
You are absolutely right about that.
Something's happening crazy with the world.
Yeah, the universe is flipped. Agreed.
I don't know. Well, I'm incredibly excited. We've been waiting all season for this phenomenal guest. She's been on a few times now. She's old hat at this. She's getting used to our shenanigans in all ways. We're talking about the one, the only, Candice Barbosa. What's up?
Hey guys.
It is.
Welcome in, Candice.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Oh, good. How are you guys?
Wonderful.
I don't know if she's getting used to us, Candice. I don't know if that's, I don't know if you could ever get used to us per se, but you deal with us.
I think so by now.
You put up with our shenanigans, so we appreciate you. Hey, nice shirt.
Candice's links. Yes. We're all themed for tonight.
The only X-Men shirt I own.
Nice.
Candice's links are down below. I got her Instagram. I got the channel. I got basically Shy Comic Girl Haley's channel where they got the comic book besties. That's linked down below as well. And of course, this guy's links are all in the description as well, because next week, I'm promising we're back on Justin's channel. It's not just a John's channel thing here anymore. He's got one more slideshow to make before he wraps this season. So be subscribed, be hitting that notification bell and get some of that goodness, because we'll be back on Justin's channel here soon.
Yeah, you know what, John? I think something popped up that next Tuesday. I don't know if you might have to.
JP, hit that link. Hit that link.
That's great.
All right. Well, let's say hello to some friends in the chat, because we got a bunch of friends down there.
Yeah.
We got Michael, the Sove Collector. What's going on, sir?
What's up, Mike?
He's going to be our finale guest. So when we're back here in 2 weeks, I got Sove here.
He's pumped.
Yay.
I think Candice is in the chat as well. Look, she's right there.
Everywhere.
Every week.
Our guest from last week, we got Matt from M Pressed Comics. What's going on, Matt?
There he is.
We've got Magic Lasso saying, Candice, I expect you to make sure these hosts straighten up and fly right. We've been apparently a little bit hard on Dazzler, a little bit hard on some of his favorite characters.
Well, I love Dazzler, so I won't say anything bad about her.
Not me, Magic Lasso. I wasn't there. I was those other hosts.
That's fair. We got Adam make stuff up. What's going on, Adam? Good to see you, my friend.
Adam.
And we got. I'm glad we got Lasso on the what the heck. He was like, "Wait, what's going on here? I do not like change." Oh, what's going on? Cali Comics in the chat. He says, "Copy Chet." I would say this is the guy to copy. Magic Lasso. He's pretty consistent. You got to be there.
Definitely.
We got another Barbosa in the chat.
Mama Barbosa. Hey,
Thanks for watching.
We got our man Derek Neiman. What's going on, Derek? He says JB has committed to conversing with Morse code blinks. That's fair.
I love that.
Adam says, "Got your voice back. It's always in the last place you look."
It's true. It's a good point.
I like that. We got Damien the Sleepy Reader. What's going on, Damien?
Yeah, Damien.
It's already not flying. We just started. Jeez.
But I'm here.
Right? We got Libro Paradiso. This is Gore Vidal's other YouTube channel.
Right.
If you don't know, there's our friend Gore. What's going on, Gore?
Nice.
Oldo says Justin must be feeling better. He is.
I'll still throw some of these up once in a while.
Yeah. Sharing his codes. Yeah. And there's Gore Vidal. Look, he's here twice. He's coming twice.
He's bumping the numbers. Good
to see. Yeah, hit all the likes. All the likes. Okay, good. I was worried Justin and John were going to be our next comic community drama content. No. We're good.
That's all good. This summer, Kelly.
We're just here for shenanigans. That's all we got time for. Jackson Roy Kirk, always great seeing you in the chat, sir.
Mr. Roy Kirk.
Oldwolf says, "Great show last week. Impressed. You carried John. You really carried." Did you need to include the really? Like, I don't know.
Really.
Jeez. All right. Wellbore says, "Mowing the lawn while listening." You must be on my coast somewhere, because I would imagine it's pretty dark to be mowing your lawn back east somewhere.
It's true.
Yeah, 8 o'clock over here.
Flashlight.
Right. All right. So Candace, for those that don't know, Candace has been diving into the world of X-Men with us on this show. And it's been a whole lot of fun getting her perspective on this series. And Candace, really, I just want to get some of your thoughts on where we are and how this season has gone for you. So tell me a little bit about how you feel about this team of the New Mutants. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've really been enjoying it so far. I think I've done maybe 2 seasons with you with the regular team, which of course I love them. They're the classics, and a lot of like my favorite mutants are definitely on that team. But I have been enjoying just like a new like change of pace and like learning a lot about this team, because except for Ileana, I don't think I was familiar. Oh, and Roberto. Those were the only 2 I actually knew before coming into this. So there's a lot of characters thrown at me, but I've been liking a lot of them and like all their different abilities and just kind of getting that like the younger perspective. Like I've always been fans of like, you know, Spider-Man and Miss Marvel, and kind of having that like younger I guess like perspective. So that's why I've also been enjoying that different to like the regular team. Yeah, so really liking it so far.
Nice. Are there any favorites for you? Is there any character that you're like, ooh, I want more with this person?
Yeah, well, besides Ileana, definitely Danny. I liked really about this issue, or some of the issues, the dynamic that they have and the team up that they've been doing a lot, where they've been like having to be the main 2 like working together. I like them a lot. It's probably the most. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, we've had several different artists, and I know that Bill Sienkiewicz is quite divisive among fans. How are you feeling about his reign now that it's officially over?
I'm ready to move on. I'm going to be honest with you. So, I was kind of trying to look through like just like the art previous to him, and I really did like Sal Buscema. Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I liked his art a lot, and I think Bill had some really great covers, and definitely certain issues like the Demon Bear was really, really good. But then I don't know if it was just like, usually I think what I liked about Sal versus Bill was just kind of, I don't know. I just like the less like the roughness of it. Like I kind of get more of like a horror-esque vibes.
Sure.
It's really cool. I like kind of like opening my mind to other types of art, but it just wasn't my thing. And then I think kind of a mix with some of the storylines that I know we didn't prefer as much. Maybe that also had to do with it, but yeah, ready for someone new, to be honest.
That's fair. I actually was going to ask too, Candace, did you know that Well, so, and I know we'll talk more about the artist in this new book that we're going to get into here, issue 32. Steve Lailea, who has do you remember him from our time reading Spider-Woman?
Oh, yeah. I was wondering why I look kind of like familiar. That a little bit.
I was wondering if that's why you picked it at first, or if you realized you knew the connection.
Honestly, it was. I think I picked something else first, and then I went. It was a cover instinct.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Cool. But that happened. I didn't realize that. Yeah, I think I haven't read as much Spider-Woman as you have, so I can't really remember as much. But
yeah, it was a while ago.
That kind of makes sense then why I'm a little bit more gravitating towards it. Yeah.
I love that Ryan's like, that's why Candace is my friend. Yeah. Well, and I know Bob McLeod who started this run has a very traditional comic style, and when in comparison, kind of like Sal Buscema that you're saying, it's very much like shocking to experience.
Yeah, definitely.
That. Yeah. What's up, Kenneth Birds in the chat? What's on, Kenneth? How you doing, man? Okay, then would you ever consider reading beyond this? Now we're about to wrap this omnibus. We're going to go back to the regular Uncanny. Is there a part of you that's like, oh, I want to know a little more what's going on here? Would this be a hard stop for you?
I'm not sure. I think I am definitely ready to return to the original crew, but I think maybe after kind of going back to them for a little bit, I do want to read more of them. I also got the new Magic series that came out recently, so I still have to read all that. So maybe some of them modern New Mutants as well, to kind of see like some of the new team or just how it's evolved, because I really don't know, honestly. But I think eventually I'll get around to like reading more. But it's been a really good introduction, definitely.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, Bobby's in the chat. What's going on, Bobby? Good to see you, my friend.
Station Bobby.
All right, well, then let's dive into tonight's issue. We're on issue 32. Again, we've got 32, 33, and 34. We got 3 issues left to finish this omnibus.
Look at how far left we got.
It's gone so fast.
That's it.
Yeah, it's just a little bit. Just a little bit. Crazy. And that's all. There's all that added material that they usually throw in the back of these.
That's true. Yep.
So let's add this to the end. As a reminder, stick around to the end. We do our trivia at the end. These are your last 3 episodes to get on the wheel, right? So you got to answer some trivia at the end of the show. Stick around and help make Candace laugh, and then you might get on the giveaway wheel at the end of the show when we get into June. All right. So yes, new artist. I wrote Bill Sienkiewicz, and it's not Bill Sienkiewicz. I didn't look how bad I am at slideshows. Too many slideshows to do.
Your brain's all washed
Steve, out. I always just say it Lealoa. You say Lealoa?
I think you got it. Lealoa.
It looks like the word lay, like you wear in Hawaii, and aloha.
Aloha. I noticed that. So I was like, how do you say that?
Yeah.
So yeah, not Bill Sienkiewicz. I don't even know that it's October. We'll find out.
I think it was October. Yeah, the
cover date is October.
October. Yeah.
So let's talk about this cover. Looks like it's got a Polaroid on there. What were your thoughts, Justin, when you saw this one?
Yeah, so this made me think of the wedding issue for Wolverine and
noticed that.
What's her name again? Why can't I remember?
Mariko.
Mariko.
Yeah. Too.
But I remember the blade.
Yeah.
And that was the one where I didn't realize there was a blade. This time around, I happened to catch the.
You're like, I'm looking for it.
That's all. Yeah, I'm always looking for blades now. So something about this cover, and maybe it's the coloring, maybe it's just the change in artist. I like it. Like I like it. I wouldn't say it's 10 out of 10 or it's absolutely amazing, but there's something about it that draws me towards it that I feel like when I see this, I'd like to pick it up. I'm interested in it. I'm very curious with what these other characters are. If I were brand new with it, still has Magic, still has Danny as my 2 main girls, my favorites. So like all that, and I don't know. Again, maybe it's some of the coloring, the way the yellows pop and everything, but I like it. I'm definitely on board with this cover.
Now, Candace, you said you flipped and you saw this cover and you're like, I got to switch issues. I want this one. What was it about this cover that drew you in?
Yeah, it's a lot of the same things. I didn't notice at first until later. I was like walking home from work and I was thinking about the cover and I was like, I realized, because I was trying to figure out like what was up with the blade, like with the significance, because I don't actually know if it belongs to anyone in this issue. But then I realized like with the Polaroid and the blade and how it kind of mirrored with the Wolverine one, which then I'm assuming the Wolverine one came. It would have come first, right? Yeah. So I thought that was a really cool homage, and I kind of echo everything that Justin said, because I think maybe it's just because some of the covers that we've had recently, but I think like having the muted oranges and reds just puts a really nice emphasis on the trade dress and the Polaroid. I always just love like Polaroids, and then like an interesting like splits, just kind of wondering like, oh, who are these other people? And just even a little cross out, like playing with the title with like the old mutants instead of the new. I just think it's a really fun cover. It's one that I really hope to find at some point, because I really do like it a lot.
Sure.
It's just a fun, like, playful cover.
I mean, it's quirky, right? You get to see like some characters you think you might recognize, but they look so different, and the design, like you're saying, with the split of the Polaroid there, and who are these characters? Are they people that we know? Interesting. Like, what are they wearing? It looks kind of punk. It's kind of interesting, right?
Exactly.
So
a lot of questions.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's dive in and see how things are going for our old mutants. We start with a flashback. The characters, as we left them in the previous storyline, they were basically coming to the realization that their former teammate, who they thought dead, Jean or Karma, was not, and had instead become something rather grotesque and was really running this awful gladiator arena in LA. So here they are reminiscing in the moment when they thought she had died, right? This takes us back quite a ways in the story, and they're thinking through the moments, right? So the whole team really stuck on this, what went down. In particular, Roberto's the one really reminiscing about this, and the explosion, the falling into the water, everybody trying to save everybody, Roberto being unable to hold on to her, and Sam needing his help, and everybody just sort of doing their best to stay alive and struggling through this event. And they're kids, right? They're just kids trying to do the best with what they can with their powers. And we get Bobby there at the end, just kind of walking the beach. Roberto is dealing with it all, because he's the one that we saw in the issue immediately after her death, staring out at the water in frustration, feeling guilt about it. So a lot of emotions. Bobby's got the big feels going right now. Justin, what were your? Oh, sorry. Hello to Commieverse. What's going on, Commieverse? Tony, what were your thoughts on Bobby sort of reliving a lot of this trauma?
Yeah, so I really liked it, how the fact that this opened up as like a flashback brought us back to some of I loved how this whole season opened, of all the issues, the issues that we kind of jumped into. And I feel like it was nice to see a little bit of a glimpse or detail in those moments of the explosion. Not that, it's still pretty straightforward as far as what happened, but just to see, like you said, like who was struggling with what, who was trying to carry who or save who. And then leading us back to where Bobby is, standing on the beach. I feel like in the original, I guess that was issue 2, issue 3. I feel like it happened so quickly, and it was just so kind of, I don't know, disregarded the explosion itself as just, 1 minute you're boom exploding in the sky, the next minute Bobby's crying on the beach. So this was at least a little bit more detailed. The other thing I want to highlight here was so Steve Leialoha, he has definitely, for this particular issue, I feel there's a lot of hit and miss for me. I do feel that some of these panels are a good hit. I love the close-ups in the face details next to Candace there on this main splash page. I think that's some of the best stuff that we actually get as far as detail in face goes throughout this issue. So just taking a moment to kind of take all that in, as a splash page, you want it to be some of the best stuff. And I think it really is coming from him. And then just kind of seeing some of the chopped up, unbalanced panels and layouts and stuff like that, I thought was really cool too. So from an art perspective as well, I was definitely, pulled in right off the bat.
Nice. Yeah, I can totally see that. Thanks, Bobby. I try. The traumatized dog is always a good one. Yeah, Candace. So, what are your thoughts? We're taking the team back in time a little bit here. Obviously, wanting to catch the new readers up on who Karma was, and a little bit of that at the same time. Did you feel like this worked for you?
Yeah, because honestly, trying to ask me what happened in those issues. Like, Justin makes a good point where it's like it could be disregarded. So then now that when we're bringing it up, I'm like, wait, I don't even remember what happened. So it was good to have this like refresher for me, since it is pretty important of probably
Sure.
why she ends up kind of maybe the way she is. But it's a really cool splash page at the beginning where you get it like start getting a good intro to the new art that we're gonna have. Yeah, I think, yeah, I do like it a lot, and just kind of even how they break it up on the bottom, kind of with like the different zigzags and different ways that he does shading. But I really loved it. And then kind of like going to present where now Berto is like dealing with just everything that happened and kind of that internal like monologue and just like how much guilt that he's feeling about it. I really thought that was a really interesting perspective to see, especially from him, because I think we can kind of get like a total opposite, just like of his personality, and just like
Sure.
Can just be more silly or flirty, and like it just kind of was interesting hearing like how much this affected him for sure.
Totally. Yeah. What is up? Stevie's in the chat. What's going on? Conlin Comics. Good to see you, sir. Yeah, I want these blueprints are correct. I want plastic explosives as insulation in all the walls. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm agreement with both of you. I love the color work here as well. That pink sunset, also to Candace's point, there's some fun layouts here with very slanted lines breaking up the panels. It creates a little bit of intensity as well. So yeah, really some exciting ways to start off this issue. And then we move back to Roberto and his deep feels. He's thinking over this guilt. He's very frustrated by it. And when his teammates try to assist him, he's still holding a lot of animosity towards them. They get together as a group and they're going over everything they know about what happened to Jeanne, her relationship with her family, which is very tumultuous, and this Viper character who was working with her uncle. And they're running through kind of all this stuff. But Roberto is definitely still in a very angry phase, and he's taking it out on some of them. He's really letting them have it. And they even mentioned the fact that he may be carrying over a little trauma from meeting the Beyonder, because let's face it, Secret Wars 2 leaves a lot of people traumatized. Readers, writers, whatever. So yeah, Roberto is in a very emotional place right here. What is up? Carlos is in the chat. What's going on, Carlos? That dog.
There he is.
Stuff. That dog.
Like, he better be watching right now. What's up, Carlos?
Yeah, Carlos is always enjoying all the panels as he walks past the TV. He's like, "What is happening?" Like, no contact.
He's my Pokemon brother right there.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Gary B is here. What's going on, Gary? He was live tonight with Chuck Hensey. Good to see you, Gary. So yeah, Candace, what are your thoughts here on the team trying to make sense of what happened to their teammate? Because it's some pretty rough stuff.
Yeah. So just a couple things I kind of like was noting was it was interesting that not only is Roberto he's blaming himself, but he's also projecting also a lot of anger on Professor X, which to an extent rightfully so. But kind of just of like feeling like that betrayal of also that maybe he knew that she was alive, maybe he doesn't. To be honest, I don't actually know if I know the answer to that, but it's kind of that like back and forth where it's like he's feeling like blaming himself, but then he's also blaming him. So yeah, and then there was a lot of really intense like I put on some of the quotes too that he said that I thought was like, oh my God, like he's really feeling it. There was one that he said, like, I can't get her cry out of my mind, like the wail of a condemned soul at the gates of hell. And I was like, oh my God, like I could really feel that. And like something else that I think it was also maybe him that also said this was, we are children. It's not our place to risk our lives for a world that hates us simply because we are mutants cursed with these powers. So there was just a lot of really interesting themes here. And it was, but then like, even though he's having this internal monologue, I thought it was interesting that when the team is kind of like, are you okay? And like, they kind of acknowledge it, like that it's okay that he's like feeling this way. Like they didn't realize how bad he was affected, that they're like, he just snaps at them and is like, there's nothing wrong with me. Like he's in denial about it. So
for sure.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. And then you can also see here the Polaroid, how they finally like carried that in to the story as well, which I thought was
I was wondering how that was going to play.
Because apparently they've got dossiers on all of Jan's family. Just sort of which is nice. It's good to have that.
Detectives.
Justin, so this is a very important meeting. So as always, Sam Guthrie shirtless. Like it's kind of become the ongoing thing. Sam Guthrie doesn't own shirts. Am I right?
Yeah. I mean, that's how he rolls, you know. He's consistent. You got to appreciate the consistency.
He's talked Doug into it too. Even Doug's like, "Oh, I'll skip a shirt for tonight." Sure, why not?
I think it's because he's still scared of when Professor X yelled at him for dressing up in his Lila Cheney shirt.
Yeah,
he's like, "Oh, in case Professor X shows up, I don't want to be wearing my."
Or maybe it's loyalty to Lila. It's like, if I can't wear that shirt, I'm not wearing any shirt.
Nothing. Yeah.
It's either Lila Cheney or nothing.
Yeah. I agree with Candace here. A lot of mixed emotions with Bobby. He's big internal struggle. I was, just seeing the name Juliana again. For those who haven't read that or recall, it's his girlfriend who died. We don't get many characters that die in comics, but she was one that did early on in the season. And again, for a kid, as a kid his age, I can't imagine continuing to live life and have all that, dealing with himself, putting the blame on him for her death and all that other stuff. So that mixed with all this, this drama with Professor X, I don't blame him for, just having all these mixed emotions. He does, like you guys said, he does snap at the team a few times. Obviously that's not cool. Taking it out on, especially Doug. I feel like he really gives Doug a hard time in these pages. And Doug's like, I love Doug, and he's such an innocent, like, everybody likes Doug, kind of friendly dude. He's not one to start, drama with anybody. Right. And Bobby's just like, giving it to him, like, and and he's just trying to help. I mean, he's got these, like, he's got the technology to kind of figure out where she could be and all this other stuff. So if anything, Doug plays a massive role in this issue, and Bobby he's just kind of kicking him to the curb. So I did feel bad for him there.
You should. Doug's like, I just got here, man. I wasn't here when she died. Like, give me a break.
Yeah. He's like, who's Juliana? He's like,
I'm trying to keep up.
The other thing I wanted to highlight too was at the end here. I do love these little moments where, the team's supposed to be sleeping, and when somebody comes around the corner, they're like, "Oh, quick, Danny, use your powers and make it look like, So like the flight attendant, whoever it was, peeks in, and sure enough, they're all, it looks like they're all sleeping. So nice to have that little, throw in there.
Danny, always to the rescue for sure.
Yeah.
What's going on? We got some people talking about Sam being shirtless. It was a choice. It was always a choice. Lasso says, get that Dazzler Light and Fury tour shirt. That's what you need.
I need a Dazzler shirt too.
JP says, Chuck hid her from being alive is a safer bet, given that his track record is so shoddy. Yep. I feel it.
Fair.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, then let's continue on here with the team as they're landing in Madripoor. Hashtag first appearance of Madripoor. The team has decided this is where they're going to track down their friend. They've got a lot of sources leading them in this direction, but they don't want to go through customs. Customs is a hassle. It's something you don't want to have to deal with. So what they do is create a volcano in the airport.
That was so good.
Light it up, Magma.
I'm going to try.
And then while people aren't looking, one of them turns into a helicopter and flies them away to the beach.
Real casual.
Where nobody notices and everybody's just chill with it. And now they're dining at the beach, having some local cuisine and making a big plan for breaking into the estate of their former friend and thinking that they're totally smooth and undercover while they are on security monitors. They are being recorded. The eyes are watching you. And so, they have failed in several ways right here off the bat. And then it jumps to that night when they're trying to break in and using different powers. Rain is sniffing out traps and lasers and things. And the team is then like knocking out the guards as they work their way through. And then Doug is frustrated because he doesn't get to go. Doug and Warlock are supposed to be the backup. So they're just sitting there kind of just like waiting, but alarms start going off. And maybe they're not going to just get to sit and be the guy in the chair this particular episode. Justin, what are your thoughts on the team in Madripoor?
Yeah, this is. I was wondering if this was mentioned previously, or if this is considered its first appearance or mentioning.
It is considered the first time Madripoor appears anywhere. And if you guys, I think it was X-Men 97. It appeared in X-Men 97 this round, right? I think it made an appearance there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I don't know.
A wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Yeah, it was cool to kind of see that. The team. Again, we get more of Bobby kind of snapping. This is where Doug actually tries to apologize at one point. And in his apology, as he says, "Sorry, I shouldn't have realized how much this caper was tearing you inside." And Bobby snaps at him and says, "What do you mean, hombre? There's nothing matter with me. What do you?" And he just like gets angry at him again. Like, yeah. And like, dude, like, come on, man. Like, I get the first set of anger, but now you're just being ridiculous. And Danny calls him out. She's like, dude, he's trying to apologize.
Exactly.
So I love the bickering back and forth here. Again, it's teens, it's kids being kids. But again, with Bobby, very mixed feelings. And then, the silly plan. I mean, it works for them to skip customs. I don't like customs either. So I mean, hey, do whatever you can. Yeah, you do whatever you can. And I do like that in the meantime, when Doug is hanging out with Warlock, Warlock's like, "Hey Doug, what do you think of me changing all these different things?" And
I love that part.
Yeah, you get a bunch of little cameos there. I thought that was really nice, nicely added. So of course, it gets messed up by the alarms and stuff, but nice little moment there, one panel.
Yes, Matt, you got it. Warlock is a transformer, right? I mean, he's an alien from another world that can change his appearance like that.
I didn't even know he could do that. like that anyway, because I saw him turn the helicopter. And I'm like he can really do anything. It was crazy. I didn't know.
His powers are pretty wild. Yeah,
pretty convenient.
Sure. Yeah. So Candace, what are your thoughts on the way this team is trying to execute a plan here?
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely some really great moments here. Also, I wrote down like with the customs part, pretty funny. And then let's see, that part though with Doug and Warlock and just turning into like the different like iconic like 80s people, and I was very confused by the one that looks like Kermit but with like a toupee or like something.
I think it's supposed to be Kermit.
I'm just like, who is that?
Yeah.
But I like that a lot of times like this the X-Men comics will definitely bring in like pop culture, especially like I've noticed, which is really, really fun. Although no Tom Selleck. I'm surprised. I was like,
surprised,
where is he?
He's so consistent up to now.
Yeah. But yeah, and then it was just of course like with them being left behind and everything. But I mean, it's true though, they are really important though, because you do have to have that man in the chair kind of situation. So I think I'm glad that they are still getting their recognition. But yeah, I thought it was a lot of really good panels here for sure.
Yeah, and there's some fun color work happening here too, with like the blue for the nighttime scene, and and the yellow in the airport. I thought there was some good color work.
I had a question. So Danny uses her powers to kind of have like the earthquake, but then they said something also that magma kind of worked with her also.
Magma's the one that created the earthquake.
Okay, then did Danny do anything though with like?
I know she created the illusion in the airplane to make it look like they were asleep.
No, so later, so in this, it's actually on the next set of panels, but she ends up making the guards that are chasing them all.
That's what it was.
Scare, all their different fears kind of come into play. It's like you'll see like a pink set of monsters.
We can go on.
Yeah,
right here. Yeah, the team is breaking into this facility. Cannonball is doing what Cannonball does. He's smashing stuff. The rest of the team comes running in, and it looks like there's all kinds of monsters happening. Mirage, or Danny Moonstar, is creating some illusions to distract and scare, put the fear into the soldiers. as the team is charging their way through. And Danny speaks a little moment too soon. She's basically saying, we got to watch out. This bad guy can possess us. Karma has the ability to control us. And then she's like, dang it, now somebody's biting me. like it's like she said it right when Rain got taken over and starts fighting back to her, which to me was like, yeah, maybe that's part of the planning in this operation. Like, how are we gonna think through this? So the tides switch over pretty quickly on our team here. Candace, what were your thoughts on Rain so quickly turning on them?
Yeah, that at first I was just like really, I was confused by that, but then I realized that Danny totally called it, and it just already is showing how dangerous that she is, this villain. So yeah, probably should have planned a little better, because like deep down I think she knew. So
yeah,
but definitely was definitely a shock for sure.
Right. And what do you think of this artwork here too? Because obviously we're getting a lot of finally getting Steve Leialoha on some action.
Yeah, I think I'm liking it. Yeah, I really liked also seeing like the monsters drawn a little differently too. Because I liked them in the other issues. But I think this one you can obviously see them a little different, just kind of like how he differently like draws them and everything.
Sure.
No, I really like that as well.
Justin, any thoughts here on Leialoha now that the team is in action, or on Danny's leadership gaffe? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, some of the face drawings are throwing me off a little bit here. But then I guess that's where I was like, I feel like some of it just kind of went downhill compared to that first initial splash page. Like, sure. I don't know if I really like that close up of Danny's face. It just seems too, I don't know, plain. I actually like the one on the bottom, that bottom far right hand side where her hand's kind of over her face. I like that. I feel like that has more emotion to it than
that's true.
Than the other one, So it's just like hit or miss, some of it.
But
I wanted to point out that in this panel next to Candace here, the one Bobby again, he's snapping at Danny. She's leading them. She's like, all right, you guys do this, me and Magic will pick up on the back end and yada yada yada. Like she's calling all the shots, and I think she's doing a great job of it. And he's like, Mirage, you're sounding more and more like Professor X every day, and I'm not. He goes, and I for one, I'm not impressed. Like, just like, why?
I know
you're mid attack right now.
Yeah. You're for Danny too.
Yeah, like things could go wrong, people could die, and you're over here just like giving her shit.
Yeah.
So that was again just irked me
not
a little
helping.
Bit. Bobby, yeah, exactly. Bobby not being productive. I also find it interesting that we learn more about Magic's abilities here, where she can just instantly call in these creatures. And now I know we've seen her kind of do that before. I don't know if it was that casual. It seemed so much more easier for her to call this Fido, I think is the name of this one. But Fido comes in and she's just like, hey, let's have Fido join the party. And just like, she calls in this monster. And like, I mean, it's just cool. Like, I guess I'm still learning what her abilities are in that sense. So for that to just kind of see, and I like how you see the portal is like a side view of the portal. So you just see the white line
coming through.
Fido just coming through. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like that. The name, the name could have been a little better than Fido, but very, very puppy dog like. But yeah, no. So I do like these moments as well for Magic.
Yeah,
sure.
I agree. I definitely was in this issue was noticing like her other abilities that we haven't really touched on before, but I think that's pretty cool though. Just like being able to like summon her demons on command. I mean, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Okay. Well, the team dealing with Rain out of control. They're basically having to like fight one at a time, as Karma is now looking over them. She's right above them, speaking through Rain, and basically just showing them like, I'm here to punish you for, what happened to me. And they're all just kind of left shocked by what's going on here. Meanwhile, as she's capturing them, it's Danny and Ilyana who are like, we've got to get out of here. And Ilyana's like, look, I can I can sneak us out of here, but we can't stay here. This is not a good situation. She's got Sim with her, and so Sim is there as well. And this is where, for me, this is where the story gets a little bit wonky, because Illyana's ability to move through time and space it's not all it's cracked up to be, gang. And she can take them to limbo and then bring them back again in a different time or place, but the control is really not there. So Danny is left feeling like she's a failure. The team is basically going to get caught. The cops show up and they're like, what, this is, we've got to run. And so Illyana's like, we're out of here. I'm taking us to limbo and we'll figure it out when we get there. But Danny is definitely in a state of trauma here, kind of dealing with the team so quickly being taken apart here. Candace, what are your thoughts on the team up now of Danny and Illyana?
Well, I definitely love that. I've been enjoying that in a lot of the other issues that we've been seeing. Plus, there's definitely like a good contrast in both their abilities and just like their personalities. And yeah, this was another instance where I didn't realize that Illyana was struggling with those abilities so much. I don't know if we just maybe I don't remember, or we just haven't seen like that good an example where she can't control it as well. But then
it hasn't been this bad before, but we've definitely seen her, drop them. She's trying to take them to one place, and now they're in Los Angeles. It's a week in the future when she was hoping to have them be like ahead of an airplane that was flying there, things like that.
Yeah. But then I think she said something also that she's immune to Shan's powers, though, because it's how Professor X can't get into her brain either. It's kind of the same thing, which I thought was really interesting and helpful.
Yeah, he can't figure her out, and it's kind of always been a staple for their relationship. And it's cool to see that it's also just as challenging for someone like Shan to not be able to access in the same way.
Yeah. And then this was just another instance, of course, like of Danny. Like I feel like in this issue, it's a lot of kind of between Danny and Roberto's like inner dialogues of kind of just like how much pressure they're putting on themselves from like different things. Of course, like from Danny, it's more from like a leadership and like putting all this pressure to make the right decisions. And then of course, like Illyana's not doing what she's supposed to, so that's kind of making it harder for her as well. But
right.
Yeah, I thought this was a really good scene, and then like leads into, of course, everything like when they come out of limbo and just kind of what happened once they left, and that they're trying like they're gonna be like framed for just like what happened and everything. So it said something about like that everybody got like massacred. Are they saying that the other mutants, did they do it? We don't know if that was something like we just actually don't see, or it's not.
It's
true.
Definitely off page, some of this stuff, and that's where the flaws of this issue start, for me at least, to come out, because there's definitely things that would have been interesting to see, but we can't because of the way the narrative is structured. Justin, any thoughts? Sorry, and I realize I've got the two far panels are actually in the wrong order. They're actually it should be swapped around. I think it should be and then basically them coming back after limbo. But go ahead, Justin.
So that to your point, Candace, and it is, as you pointed out, John, the middle page is the last one, but that's where they say that basically when they come back, everyone's dead. It got pretty dark pretty quick. I wasn't expecting. I mean, it's the gladiators, I think, were a lot of them, and basically her henchmen were the ones that were dead. But I mean, to be slaughtered like that is pretty heavy for someone, for Shan to be doing. Obviously, she's drawing the line, and I mean, we get she's evil or whatever, but like this was like over the top. And then like Candace said, like they are kind of framed for it in a sense. These police officers are there, and who knows, like they also are probably under the mind control of Shan. Like she's just so powerful at this point, and you almost can't trust anybody. So I kind of liked the direction that this was going. I do think and maybe John, this is what you were hinting at more, is that it would have been cool to like breathe for a second and like actually see some of this play out a little more, as opposed to just, okay, let's jump again.
Right.
you know. So that definitely was, I feel, a missed opportunity and a bit rushed, but yeah, like I do like the direction of like, oh my gosh, like it got this serious, people were, you know, killed, and now they're being set up for it, and how do they wiggle out of this? So
yeah. Sorry we left you dead, Karma, but you are eating good. And Lasso saying, I'm glad someone acknowledged that Karma was much bigger now, because with Bill S. artwork, you just never know if it's interpretive or not. It could be
very true.
Shots fired. Ryan, shots fired. Yeah, so let's continue on here. Oh, and that's why I got this one twice. That's what happened. Sorry.
Okay.
There it is. Yeah, the team finds the sorry, not the team. The girls find the team has basically been wiped out. They're feeling like this has really been horrible. We've got to fix this somehow. So Ileana's like, all right, let's go back to Limbo. Let's try this again. And she's like, well, you know, we can go after Shan or we can go home, but like, we've got to do something here. And so, you know, this is crazy is what Ileana says. I really can't control this. But let's, you know, we can give it a shot and see where we end up. And it looks like they travel next way far back in time. So this building now looks like it's like almost ancient Madripoor. And they're like, okay, this is not where we wanted to be. They're running and hiding. They're not seeing any technology, electricity, or anything. There's guards that are speaking a language they don't quite understand. And they're being chased all through the city. It's got a little bit of that Aladdin, like one step
Cairo
ahead
now.
of the henchman.
Yeah.
Is it Cairo?
Now this is where they jumped to Cairo, which also makes it even crazier. But like they randomly threw in the plot where they're like, hey, we heard she has a spot in Cairo. Let's go there. So that was the other weird.
I thought that was kind of random.
Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Yeah.
I like it. And then they stumble and they land at the feet and they sort of get caught. Somebody's standing over them, catching them. So we're jumping around in time and in space, and it's happening. And this is where the issue kind of loses me personally. It's just like, it's way too scatterbrained. And I get that there is a plot here. It's just happening so rapidly, and we're not even getting a chance to breathe and understand possible futures, pasts, different places. The inconsistency of that is not combined well for me with quality artwork to help me frame it. So in the end, it's just sort of being fixed with, you know, exposition instead. I don't know. Justin, what are your thoughts on how they navigate this complicated part of the story?
Yeah. So I think that my second time through with reading this, I started to become okay with it a little more. I do feel I was very much pulled out of it the first time around. It was confusing, and I was like questioning myself with like, do I know where I'm at right now with this and everything else? But I do think that if we really think of a teenage girl who doesn't fully have control over her powers, and her powers are as powerful as being able to travel in time and space, or in location, I would imagine it would probably be this dramatically obscure and random as somebody just testing things out.
Right.
So I do see it for that. Now, again, going back to what you're saying, John, and I agree, I think it would have been nice to at least hash out some details and stay at these places a little longer than 4 to 5 panels each. You know, and granted, you know, that would obviously make the issue way longer, or maybe multiple issues, who knows.
But I'd rather have that.
But yeah, like maybe that would have been like a king size annual, you know, something like that. And we've gotten some really wild rides, right? And that I think would be really cool. So that was the vibe I got. But I do still like seeing, you know, her magic go through her portals, and, you know, all the changing, the artwork that she has in these sets of panels I thought were really cool. And then, yeah, just trying to figure out Cairo and everything else.
Sure. We got Brian LCS in the chat. What's going on, Brian? He's been a member for 6 months. I didn't even think I've had memberships for 6 months. He was there ahead of the memberships. This guy. No Spidey in this book, but it does feel like we've crossed the Spider-Verse. I will say that's true. Candace, how did you fare through the jumping around that we're getting in this?
Yeah, I know. I kind of have mixed thoughts as well, because I love like time travel related things, especially like going to Egypt and everything like that. But I agree that, like some other parts that we're going to get into, that these sections were just too short, where you're kind of like almost going like getting whiplash, like which way, like where are we now? Yeah, I mean, it definitely shows like just how wrong her abilities can go. Which I guess then, yeah, that is interesting. But yeah, I think we could have used a little bit extra time in each to kind of get a little bit more context, because it was too. Because I think it would have been really interesting then, like spending time a little bit more time. Especially like, I really do like all the time travel-y things, or so I don't know. I think that's would have been better.
I guess it just shows how challenging it can be to get those kind of stories right. Yeah.
Big time.
Well, then let's continue along here. We meet who people think it might be Aurora right off the bat, but she says, "No, my name is Ashake, and I'm but I see." She says, "But I see in your memories the face of my granddaughter many times removed. I'm pleased to learn that even in your faraway era, the line our blood yet runs true. In her name, I bid you welcome." So we've really like just derailed here in a second. It was like, for me, it was like, I'm happy to have more Storm. I'm happy to have more Storm. At the same time, this there's a lot to break down in that one little word balloon there, that I feel like not only do we have Storm's, ancestor, but also she has all the mystic abilities that they've hinted at in other Storm related, of annuals and things. And she's basically using that to commune with our characters, and is so casual about reading their minds, seeing the future, and understanding this whole situation. There's a lot for her to have absorbed in like a couple of seconds with these characters.
Conveniently knows English now too. I don't know.
There's a lot to unpack. And apparently she invites them to stay with her for like a day. She's like, I'm going to take care of you guys. I'll give you a place to stay, but you got to be quiet. We could get you in a lot of trouble here. But I'll get you home again. You just got to, stick it out, stay strong, and good luck. Because we're jumping again, folks. 1 page later, they jump again. Now we're in some crazy buck wild distant future, and there's people running in the streets, and they've got like crazy Star Trek like clothes, and they've got blasters, and there's a rain like monster attacking these people. And not only that, there's like seemingly some people that we might half recognize, these old / new mutants, and our poor girls are just like, wait, what is happening? We need to get out of here. We need to get out of here fast. So it's like, it's just compounding, right? All of the time travel, dimension travel, side travel, it's all bad. But hey, we got Comic Cat Collectibles here. What's going on, Cat? Appreciate you. So Candace, let me know. Were you at this point? I was just rubbing I was this gif in the corner. I was just rubbing my temples.
Yeah, it's like, because I do love, like, again, like the time travel aspect, but it was just so quick, where, I mean, it was really cool seeing like it was like, is that Storm? And then it was kind of like her, like almost like a past life. And I don't really know like that many of her like other abilities from like other series, but I think she did say something that it sounded like she also had Danny's abilities for this version, so I thought that was interesting. But yeah, like I was saying before, she conveniently was able to understand them and like figure all these things out, which was just wild. And then transports them, and bye, she's gone. And then we go to this whole other like futuristic, which then I didn't know, is it just that it's in the future, or is it like it's a multiverse in the future? Like it's really, really confusing. Then we finally figure out like what the cover means 100%, even though they look a little bit more obvious here than on the cover. I don't know why. But I thought that was really fun. Kind of just like this, like evil mutants, like, which was really cool. And I just like the design of them also. But again, way too quick for being on the cover. It was something I was hoping was going to be a lot longer than it was. And again, it was like the Storm part that was really, really short. So
for sure.
Yeah, I think that alone could have been like its own thing for sure.
JP says she's related to Storm, so she can handle anything. Luckily, they didn't run into a Summers ancestor.
Ooh.
We got Chris from Chaos and Comics. He says, bring back Sienkiewicz. I mean, I get it. Everybody's got their feelings. I can see in Justin's eyes, he didn't read this issue. What? Unacceptable. I'm not counting the toe rings. We're not counting the toe rings. Justin, thoughts on these pages? Were you able to keep up? Did you have to reread a couple of times? Where are you at?
Yeah. I mean, like I said before, I just think it was all just so dramatically rushed. I would have loved to have seen the moment, because Ashake says, she goes, "We shall talk later. Questions answered and wishes granted." Like, come on. Like, there's got to be so much that comes out of that. Like,
there's an entire comic book being left off the pages here.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I can't wait for later, whenever that comes. And then literally in 2 panels, it's gone. They're the whole thing.
Yeah, so much for that.
Yeah, like even in the one not right next to you, Candace, but the one right beside that, that's like a 2 split panel, and all in that moment, like 20 things happen. Like, I'm like, man, it was so rushed out of there. I this is something I'm going to add to my list to bring up to Chris Claremont, because I would love to not just ask him, like, what, first, like, I felt like this was really rushed. Am I correct in that? Were you pressured? Was there a reason, that you could only fit so much here, but, would you ever, elaborate on this, or have you ever elaborated? Maybe he's elaborated on this in a issue we haven't gotten to yet, but like,
we need more.
Sounds like that. Yeah. But I don't know. I just like, I don't know. You could do so much with it. There's so much potential, and it's all just gone. All squeezed into one page.
Yeah.
And then to your point, Candace, yeah, I was bummed that you didn't get to see these futuristic mutants that were on the cover. I mean, that was a big draw into checking this issue out, and to see them all there in that one panel, essentially. I mean, 2 panels.
Yeah.
That's it.
Not even a full page. That would have been really cool.
Yeah,
like a full page.
Right. A big letdown. Again, these are all interesting worlds. I find them interesting, and I would want to know more. And it just it came and went super quick, and you just So that's where that's the drawback here. That's the struggle, and so I don't blame you, John. I mean, it's hard to get into. It's just hard to get into.
So I got 2 things, chat. Number 1, he's got no list. There's no list anywhere of the questions he's asking Claremont. He's just saying that he's had a list of questions for Claremont. It doesn't exist. Number 2, do not be the guy directly behind Justin in the line to talk to Claremont, or you're never getting anything. Claremont is going to fade away to dust answering all the questions that we've got before you've got a shot.
They put the red rope behind me. They cut it off for everybody else. They say
like Justin's guys here. Everybody just
come back
that's
tomorrow.
The end of the line right there. That's the end of the line.
Tomorrow. Exactly.
Or Justin, you'll go sneak into the con ahead of time like that.
I would never do that, Candace. I don't know.
I've heard only vague rumors.
Somehow I got in there. I don't know what happened. I was like magic, I just arrived.
Right, you were just there.
All right. People behind you are gonna be mad, Justin. Claremont talks to everyone and never rushes anyone, but he's gonna make Justin move along to get others in line. There you go. He can record the conversation. There you go. What is going on? Cliff on Comics, my friend. How you doing? He says, my only drawback to this issue is the art. Okay, not a fan.
But he likes the issue otherwise. Interesting.
Well, let's continue along with the futuristic issues that we were having. They try another little travel, but it doesn't all seem to be going so swell. They are in Cairo. They seem to still be stuck in this future. Danny, not happy. Danny's really frustrated. It's just everything she's trying to do to fix something is just a failure. And it's really just she's just breaking down through it. But then another shadowy figure appears, and it's our Storm, or at least it seems to be. She's got a mohawk, she's bow staff, she's not wearing a lot of clothes. It does seem like she's our girl. And she's like, hey, I'm here to help you guys. Warlock found me. Evidently being an alien, he's immune to Karma's talents. So benefit yet again to the guy they chose not to bring into the fight with Karma. But whatever. Warlock is there. He brought Aurora, and these guys are now going to be the ones to come together to try to fix this problem. So thoughts here on how this wraps up. Justin, I'll start. Well, no, I got to go the other way. Candace, what is it that you felt about how this kind of wrapped up here at the end?
Well, I too also feel Danny's frustration of just all this back and forth, even though I did enjoy it, but it was just so quick. I do like, of course, Storm. It finally is Storm. And it also kind of reminded me where we are in the timeline also, because I forget what issue Storm gets her mohawk, but it was kind of knowing that it was like those later issues for sure. Like we're catching up to where we were prior seasons. I mean, I am looking forward to the next issue. Like, it did make me excited. Like, this team up, it's a really interesting team up. But it's a lot of really I mean, I love all three of the girls for sure. And then you get throw Warlock in there. And I just learned all the things that he can do in this issue alone. So, I mean, it was kind of like a funny, team power here. And it just kind of it was funny. But I'm looking forward to the next issue. It made me want to still read more because we obviously have a lot of unanswered questions. But
nice.
Yeah, I didn't guess that's even where we were though. When they transported again, I wasn't sure where we were, so I didn't really know. But yeah, I'm looking for next week.
There you go. Conlon says, if you want to get into a con early, ask for the bathroom in a panic, and they let you right in. All right. Don't shame me. Don't shame me, old wolf. Get out of here. Look at that thigh. It's definitely our Storm. All right. Chris, a mohawk wouldn't do it, buddy. The mohawk wouldn't do it. Justin, thoughts here on how this wraps up?
Yeah. So first of all, great gift selection here. I got my.
I knew you. Right, that was for you, buddy.
Yeah,
that was
I know you like that.
Very, very timely. Yeah. So I do like that. I mean, we see the struggle here with Danny. Up until now, I mean, she's been an awesome leader. Yes, she's gone through a ton of crap. She's got her butt kicked by the demon bear. Her recovery took a long time. She's been through so much in this season, and I like seeing this vulnerable side to her. She's struggling. Mm-hmm. She's breaking down with, what do I do as a leader? It's making her kind of argue with Magic. They're kind of going at each other at this point. Yeah. They're both frustrated. They don't have the answers. They're questioning. She's questioning Magic's powers. Is what we saw, is that real? It's just like the Hellions back in issue 17. Is any of that real? Is what we saw going to happen eventually, or can we save that? Can we fix it? And Magic's I don't know. I don't know either. I'm just trying to figure this out. And it's your fault for making me do that. I didn't even want to.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That, So they're just going at each other. And I just love the rawness of this, the emotions. It's moments like this that is making this issue a higher grade for me than I think where others might put this. So I love that. And then obviously we get our girl Storm. I'm all. That's awesome. I love that she showed up again. Yes, it's jam packed into these last 2 pages, and Storm's really only on one. But
Jackson says it's his. Storm.
Yeah,
it's not ours. There's no hour.
Get it right. So yeah, I just found it, a great set. I mean, it's a good, segue to where it's going to go next. And I'm as Candace said, I'm very interested to see where these two go. I actually didn't realize that Warlock was kind of in there in the background and that last page as well. So, interesting that he kind of re-showed up there at the end.
Yep. No Doug though. No Doug at this point.
him and Berto are going at it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I agree with you guys. It definitely gets you psyched to see how this goes forward. And yeah, my critique is really just on the rush that we get as we jumping around time and again. I think we could have condensed that down to 1 or 2 jumps and then gotten more time out of those jumps. I think it probably would have been better, but I get it. It's cool to see the futuristic versions of characters or the alternative versions of characters. I understand that. Buddy, we all do. We all miss the Krakoa. If people don't miss Krakoa, they didn't read it. That's all I'm going to say.
It's true.
All Well then let's wrap it up here. Let's give some grades as we finish this out. So it's my favorite time to throw it to Justin. CGC, score this, my friend. How are you scoring issue 32?
All right, check this out. So going into tonight, my mind was made up that this was probably going to be something I graded as like a 7.5. And I reread it right before we went live. And as we talked more about everything, as we're getting there, we're learning more about Roberto, his emotions, what he's dealing with, Juliana getting brought up again, kind of brought me back to all the stuff I really loved. And so even just that flashback in the very beginning and being, they even brought up Viper and all that, going on, the 7.5 started to creep up into the 8s, right? And then we get even further and we see all these like potential worlds, which I thought were so cool, so interesting. Yes, it was a tease. It was something I would love to learn more about. And I think it's a missed opportunity, but it was still really, really cool. So then I'm like creeping up, mid eights, getting there. And then we get to like these moments here. And you guys already heard what I talked about, how I feel Danny, Magic, their relationship, the struggles of leadership, the struggles of power and how to control their power, the questions that are, coming up of how they work and the future and what is real and what was going to happen. And then on top of that, we get Storm. Storm just shows up instantly, at least a half bar up automatically. John, I assume the same for you, at least a half, grade. So mathematically,
are we at a 9? Are we at a 9.8 yet? Like, I think we're getting
my calculator out here.
Yeah. So where's the abacus?
So, with all that said, and I really do like this cover, I'm going to go with a 9.2 here. I'm going with a 9.2 white pages because I just fell more and more in love with this issue, especially as we talked about it. So that's where I stand. And that's with all the flaws. I 100% agree that there are a ton of flaws in this and it is rushed, completely rushed. And I think that this is leaving me my opportunity to have another conversation with our boy Chris next time I see him, to maybe have him shed some light on, some of these missed opportunities. But with that said, I'm going up there. So white pages, as Bobby usually puts it, I'm going to go with a 9.2.
Wow. All right. Big roll there. We got some friends jumping in the chat a little bit late here. We got Chet-I Knight. What's going on, Chet?
What's up, Chet?
And we got Paisana. I think it's Paisanato.
I see pizza.
.org. I see .org at the end.
I just see pizza, and
I know you do.
Of course you do.
Chet's not going to be happy about that. He says, I like the story. I like the art was the biggest drawback. And yeah, obviously, as artists transition onto books and off of books, that has a big impact on the enjoyment of the story. I can definitely impact the grade overall. I'm very curious, Candace. We got away from Bill S. We got something a little different here. What would you score this book?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. I had a similar journey as Justin, but then also a little bit like in the opposite direction as we were talking, just a tiny bit. Because I have on my notes that I did think about this. I was like, I really, really liked it, and I gave it a 9. And then as we were talking about it, like, I do notice kind of just a lot of how short everything was and kind of a lot of jumping around. So it might go a little bit closer to like an 8.7 or something like that. But I really enjoyed it. I don't know if it's just because of some of the storylines that we've had recently that I haven't been as into. But for me, it's like there was a lot of really great parts about it. Just seeing like everybody, like different abilities from Warlock and Ileana. There was definitely like that, like mental health aspect of kind of having these internal monologues with Bobby and Danny, which I really liked. I also did like the flashback. Not only was that a cool way to open up the story, but also was a nice reminder for me and anyone that's also new to it. Definitely like seeing Storm in 2 different ways. I love all those like time travel and past lives and futuristic stuff. I also love the cover, so that was another bonus. So it's like it teeters between the 8.7 and 9 because I really did enjoy it a lot. And it was a team up with Danny and
our
Ileana.
girls, our favorites. Yeah.
So
Which really should have been the cover for me is Danny and Ileana like jumping through portals with crazy backgrounds. I wanted that to be like that.
It's a book of missed opportunities is what it is.
Right.
Yeah. So I think we could have broken up into other storylines for sure, which I think would have been better. But I mean, I really enjoyed it, and I was ready to move on to different artwork. I mean, yeah, it's not perfect, but yeah, I'm still like open to seeing some other artists work on it. So yeah, I mean, nice. I think I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to next week, which makes it. I think that's a good sign. Also,
well said.
Bobby's with Justin there. He says 9.2 with Storm White Mohawk pages.
Love it.
JP said it was a 7.5, but then Storm showed up there at the end, and that made a big difference. But I'm saying Magic New Series has started another storyline with these two sisters. Okay, all right, cool, nice to see that. All right, I haven't read the new Magic series, so let us know if you liked it. If that was any good.
Read that.
Yeah, for me, I think it's still in that 7 range for me, 7.5. Really choppy at the end, and the artwork is hit or miss. I do like the cameos, hard to disagree with that, but it's not enough to salvage it too highly for me. Definitely a big step up from the books that we were reading prior to this. We are moving in the right direction. The story is more streamlined.
Yeah,
we don't have a trillion plots in a trillion places and trying to keep it all together. This is definitely more focused, but just choppy in the readability. And it may have just been getting a new artist on there and trying to make it work.
It's true.
Jackson Roy Kirk with the 6.0. So we got a nice spread of score going on here. It's kind of awesome.
For sure.
Well, let's look at some of the information. First full appearance of Madripoor the city. I guess that's it. I mean, there was really nothing else. A 9.8 goes for $80. There's 35 of them. A 9.6 drops way down to 28. So for almost a quarter of that, you get the 9.6. But other than the cover being a lot of fun, like we mentioned at the beginning, seems more like a book you might want to read than necessarily get slabbed. Any thoughts here on the pricing and the scores, Justin? Anything you want to mention?
Yeah, definitely a little misleading with some of the cover stuff. Yeah. I don't know. I'd ever pay a 9.8 for $80, but I mean, I get Madripoor being mentioned here, first full appearance, could be considered pretty special. Also, if you're a big Steve Lialoa fan and being able to work on some mutants, probably for the first time. I was going to say, John, in the key elements, you forgot that this is the first and last appearance of Fido. So missed key element there, but
key for sure.
Yeah, so there you have it, and maybe Storm's great grandmother too. That might have been her first.
I want to say we've actually seen her before, this grandmother, but I might be wrong. I'm sure Chet will let me know.
Yeah,
we got Ian, Strange Dog Comic and Wrestling. What's going on, Ian? Good to see you, sir. The city that never sleeps. I mean, that's one way to describe it. Candace, any thoughts on slabbing this book? Would you slab this book? Would you prefer it raw? What are your thoughts?
I mean, although 28's not bad for a 9.6, I do want to pick this up raw for sure. Because I do like the cover a lot, and I like I said, I did enjoy the story, so I would probably read it again. Plus, I do like the homage cover to the other Wolverine issue, so I'll be definitely looking for this. I've been trying to find issues that I talk with you guys about. So hopefully I'll find it, but definitely, I don't need to slab it. I'm good.
I'll have to check check to see if I've got more than one. I can hook you up. I might have a couple of some of these. I have 2 of, and I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with me.
I have a pile for you already, Candace. So.
Oh, there you go. You can get a raw, nice condition for about $4. There you go. Pick it up raw and honestly, throw it on the fire. Jackson,
probably $1. It's probably $1 bin book.
Oh, easily. A lot of these new Mutants ones are, other than a couple of the big keys,
Oh, one thing I forgot I was gonna show you guys. So when I was doing shopping this weekend over the long weekend, I haven't seen this series before, but it's an older series. But it was an homage cover.
Ooh, nice. Look at that.
I don't know if anyone has read this series. It's British. I'm gonna kind of look into what it is. But I thought, and I was like, I recognize this, so I had to get it. I think it was like $2 for it was like just in the bin.
That's cool.
And I was like, but wanted to share that with everybody because I thought
nice
cool.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Recent. It's from 2018. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Submerged. Yeah,
that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Good find.
That is awesome. Yeah, look, everybody in the chat's loving it too. There you go. Don't leave right away, friends, because we've entered the trivia portion of the show. As a reminder, with these last few episodes, these are your last few chances to get on to the giveaway list, so that when we do the giveaway show over on Justin's channel, your name will be on that prize wheel most often. That's your goal. Play the odds. Get yourself on that wheel a ton. The way this works is we're going to ask 4 trivia questions, 2 apiece, about last episode when JP was subbing in, and you get a point, or you get an entry on the list if you get a correct answer. You get an entry on the list if you're the second correct answer because you copied and pasted Magic Last Hour chat. And you can get on the wheel if Candace says you have the best wrong answer. So wrong answers are welcome. We like a good wrong answer. So those of you in the chat here, feel free to chime in. We're going to have 4 questions for you. Justin, you want to kick it off for us?
Yeah, sure. Remember, this is from issue 31. My first question is, what did Jan threaten to do to her slaves if the team, New Mutants, didn't let her escape? She was getting ready to go onto this plane. The team essentially caught her, and she threatened that she would do something to her own slaves if they didn't let her go. They didn't let her escape. What was it that she threatened?
Technically, a good one I would have put in the chat.
Like funny, yeah. Save it for after. And I'll take. There's like 2 answers that I'll take for this one. But yeah, what did she do to threaten her slaves if New Mutants didn't let them escape?
She threatened to sit on them. Ouch. Bobby's just throwing the word toe ring in. That's his answer. Just toe ring. There you go. Make them break out in flash dance, says John.
Nice.
Oh, that's a good. JP's doing the fat bastard from
Austin
Powers.
Classic.
Make them wear Diana Ross's hair. Oops, sorry. Another sit on them. Wow, shots fired. I wish I would have read that issue, Matt. She would give them a purple nurple.
Ouch.
Take away all their hula hoops. That's the worst. I am copying because I have no memory. Make them co-host next time Justin claims he has no voice. Oh my gosh, there's no correct answer yet. There's not a single correct answer. Make them scrub her backside. Drugs. Is the answer drugs? Yikes, chat. Yikes. I'm not ready for that. Make them pick out her belly button lint. There's a lot of fat shaming going on right now, folks. Melt their skin. Give me 30 seconds, John.
I don't remember what the answer was either.
Do you have a favorite funny answer? We can award a funny one.
Oh, there's a.
I blocked it.
I had 2 because there was one that I would have pretty much said, but then there was one that was just really. There was a lot of them.
I mean that
one's pretty funny too. There's some good ones. Okay, so the first one is I would have said that she would have eaten them. So that definitely would have given JP get her belly. So definitely would have given JP one. Oh, I mean, there's a couple good ones. I'm kind of torn. So I also thought that take away their hula hoops was really random.
Oh my goodness.
But then the
where was the hula
one
hoops?
was also really good.
Hula hoops was Pizat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since no one's got this, Candace, you can pick one more. Go.
Okay. I was also going to give it to Ryan for the co-host. So that one was pretty funny.
Nice. Yeah, no one got it correct. So the correct answer was that she threatened to have them cut themselves, their own throats, their own throats, or I also would accept kill themselves if they didn't let it go. So it got pretty dark there for a second.
Yeah.
It really did.
Yeah.
That's why people blocked it.
Too dark.
All right. Question number 2. At the beginning of the issue, what was unusual about the gladiator that Magma and Sunspot had to fight? What was it that was strange about that gladiator they were facing down with? There's a lot of ways this answer could go. So what was it that was odd about the gladiator that Sunspot and Magma were facing off against? He was huge. He was huge. Telepath. Matt just says telepath. Everything. I see one answer that I really like. There's some interesting answers. I do like large head, tiny legs. Very simple.
Too.
Very simple. Everything. Bobby just says everything. It's everything. Everything. Huge. Every time they hit him, it's oh my God. Yes. Every time they hit him. So I'm going to go with Matt and Old Wolf, that it was a robot. It was what I was looking for. That it was a robot. I would have accepted like mech suit, but it's a robot. So all right, Old Wolf. Where are you, Tony? There you are. And Matt in Clemson or M Prest. But there's still some funny answers rolling in here. Most of them having to do with Kitty's legs. Had Kitty's legs? Really? Nothing inside that armor. Monster floats. I don't even know what that means. What are you saying? Root beer floats are better. I mean, I agree. I'd rather have a root beer float than a monster float. All right. Anything that you liked in there, Candace? Anything that made you laugh?
What was? The Kelly's.
Callie? What did he say? This. Callie.
Wasn't the abuse.
There you go, Callie. Continuing on, man. He's like, I'm just here for the comedy answers. That's all I want. Oh, good Lord, Bobby. All right. Second question from this guy. Number 3 overall.
So yeah, this was so challenging to pull questions from this last issue.
You're like, I didn't even want to read it.
Yeah, that this next question, I am looking for mutant names only, just to clarify. So I'm looking for 2 mutant names. Name the 2 mutants that were featured in the character profile section at the back of the issue in Professor X's journal. Who were the 2 mutants that were featured in the character profile section?
Always nice when they include a little profile, give you some information on a character. Yep.
These were a little more.
I would have struggled with one of their names, as I don't know that I know her name as well, but I know all the right answers. LOL. Wink, wink. Was it Warlock and Danny?
Wow.
I see the correct answer a bunch already.
Yeah. So Ryan first.
It was Cat's Eye, who I would not remember.
Yeah.
And then are we doing? You said you wanted the actual like animal answer, right? So is it this one?
Actually,
no, it's right here.
Matt does put it. Yeah,
Matt does put it.
He says,
so
Empress
and Magic Lasso.
Yep.
All right. Got it.
Nicely done.
All right. Let's see what other comedy answers we got. Cat's Eye, Abs, Dog Girl.
No, and Dog Girl. And Dog Girl.
It's supposed to be an and. Okay. Diana and Ross. Ross from Friends?
I know.
This is a closed book exam, JP. Yeah. Mystique and Destiny would have really been a good one. Your mom and some guy. Jeez. I'm always a good woman. What's up, Jeff? The Cantonese comic kid is in the chat. What's going on, man? Insert funny answer here. All right. Any of those working for you, John and Justin?
You just
he beat you, Lasso. He beat you.
Well, technically, yeah, he swapped them there.
I'm gonna go with your mom and some guy.
JP.
Nice.
Darn it.
There it is.
You got to stop rewarding that guy for his behavior. Who let him on this show? All right, last question of the night. You all mentioned that, yes, Kitty Pryde was inside the Gladiator that the team had to fight at the beginning. How did they figure out that it was Kitty in there? How did her teammates know that was Kitty inside the robot? In what way were they clued in to the identity of the robot?
JP put Justin in his voice.
It's a good one too.
Yeah.
All the meowing. That's how you know. Oh, the Gladiator kept purring. Yeah, let's do that. We got it's basically anything to do with her powers is the correct answer. So Old Wolf, you definitely got one, buddy. And I'm thinking it's Matt as well. The robot was levitating. Yes, because it could use her abilities, right? So Matt, you got another one there on fire tonight. They could recognize her perfume, says Bobby. Had that ode to Kitty Pryde. Let's see. The costume was always changing and it gave it away. There you go.
That's fair.
I get that. That's accurate. The awful outfit. I've added a word for you. It's the outfit. Yes. He said, "It's Kitty." That's fair. That could have been it. It was chasing a ball of string. Somebody's got a new cat at their house. That's what's going on there, JP. A Vampirella book. Is a Vampirella book club. That's what you want to do next. I would definitely have to change my channel name to pull that off. All right, Candace, any one of those the winner for tonight?
It's a lot of good ones. Even though I did like that the costume changes gave it away, I would say Ryan's.
Let's see. This one, Kitty. Yes. And I'm, because this is what made me think of this question, Conlon. I'm giving out another one for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Because that's what made me think of this. That's what I thought of with this question. Is I just really wished that it was like yet another. Oh gosh, Kitty's got another costume. She's wearing a giant pink robot suit gladiator costume. Jeez. Classic. Well, that's it, gang. That is it. That's it. Under an hour and a half for the first time in a long time.
That's right.
I don't know what that says, but
I mean, I think it says that Justin's still not feeling 100% yet. But
couldn't get that many words in tonight, guys. Sorry.
As a reminder, 2 more issues left to read. We're on Justin's next week and mine the week after, and then we'll be finished with this. And the giveaway show will be soon on the heels of that. So tune in, be ready for it, hit the volume, the subscribe, and all that kind of things. Candace, thank you for joining us. As always, so much fun having you on the show.
Thank you, Candace.
I will keep coming back if you'll have me. So
absolutely, we'll get you some Uncanny next time. I promise.
Yes. Yeah.
Thanks everybody for coming around. We will be back, like I said, on Justin's channel next week, and I can't remember the guest. I'm blanking on it. Is it Broke Boy Noah?
Yes, it's Noah.
Is it Noah?
Yep.
Okay. Broke Boy Comics is on next time with Justin's channel, so be ready and be over there. But until then, we'll see you guys all later.
Later.